Hello everyone, SirMonkeySuit here, back again with My Hero Academia Season 5. We're on episode 23, and in the last episode, it was a good one, especially for my guy Twice. I've always liked the character. We have had backstory of him in the past, but in terms of the backstory that we got last episode, it was just that much more and kind of just seeded my reasoning for liking the character that much. We got a kind of look at where it all started to go wrong for him and how it kind of just spiraled out of control to, the inevitable of he basically made a bunch of himself. He didn't realize, whether or not he was the real one or not come the end of it. And because of a traumatic experience in the last episode, Toga was about to die. He got caught by Chikazoku's kind of clones of Bubaigawara. And he told them to break his arms, and we learned just a little bit before that in the episode that that kind of damage to one of Twice's clones would force them to basically dissipate, to to become nothing, and cease to exist. And he got both of his arms broken, and he's still around. He finally found out that he is actually the right one, and all of that kind of unlocked him. It unlocked his power. Now he has leveled up to an insane degree by being able to create an army of himself. It's insane how many he can create. So, Giran was right when he basically said because of that power, he could practically take over Japan with it. Because of just the sheer amount of clones that he can create is nuts. So yeah, we had that, and because of that, it's basically helped out all of the other League of Villains members. He's become like the ultimate support right now. They made it up to the top of the tower where Redestro is and holding Giran hostage, and that led up to basically Shigaraki destroying the whole tower, bringing Redestro down with him. And we also know that Gigantomachia is on his way as well, so coming earlier than they actually anticipated, because the doctor seemed to have woken him up early. And so yeah, I think we ended off where both Shigaraki and Redestro are about to have their fight, so I can't wait to get into this. It should be a good one. But yeah, I don't think we need to really talk about anything else. So yep, we're just going to get into episode 23, see what we get. As always, the reaction will be here on YouTube, but if for whatever reason it gets taken down for copyright in the future, I'll re-upload this as a discussion only, and a link to the reaction will be in the description below. As always, a link to the full-length reaction is in the description below, so if you do want to watch my full-length reaction to this episode, then the offer is there for you. But yes, nothing else to talk about, so we're going to get into episode 23, see what we get. So without further ado, let's go.
Gotta get a copy of you before it's too late. I'll make a bunch of you, and then we can do a blood transfusion.
Oh, damn, that's cool. It's a great point. Making a blood transfusion from...
Doubled you when you were healthy. I swear, I am not gonna let you die.
What's a buff big shot like you doing on the front lines with the randos? Guys who don't know their role shouldn't play the game.
I'm not someone a weak meta like you could hope to take on. Sorry, Shuichi Iguchi.
You just created a helmet.
Steel yourselves! Let us bring just punishment to those who threaten us!
Yeah, you see, he's got this kind of
ability, Insight. Special electromagnetic waves in his voice boost the morale of anyone who follows him.
God. I thought I just exploded.
Must have been one of
Interesting.
those shut-ins, yes?
I guess we never were told that, were we?
They're at the tower?
What the fuck? What are they doing in there? Oh shit! That guy was like a porcupine. You just got impaled.
I'm a follower. I don't have a real goal. I lack motivation. Except, when I saw him, he changed me. And when Shigaraki spoke, I thought, I want to see the future this guy envisions. I'd be a nobody.
Alright.
That's why I'm devoted to him. Got a problem with that?
Alright, you get... Oh god! You can increase his size.
So,
Like all of it.
handling all of this. You assumed you could leave the dirty work to your army and watch from afar. Now everything's falling apart because you underestimated us.
I'm asking about how you feel.
Oh, bloody hell. He's pissed off. Oh, fucking hell!
I'm furious, of course. Is this the hand at fault?
it will commit no more acts of evil.
Oh shit. God, he's huge!
MLA codename, Redestro. Meta ability, Stress.
Stress?
He stores up his stress and turns it into power.
Can he not?
Is meta abilities have a direct impact on personality.
He's touching his hands. Can he not do it?
To ask you earlier, one who indulges in destruction without creating anything to justify it.
Honest hands.
These are your mother's hands. Your grandmother.
Christ.
You got in trouble again?
Anna, my big sister.
Whatever. You just won't let Dad see us, okay?
Anna was the only one there for me.
Oh God.
She was just being a kid.
Aimless child, you'll find you're no match for
I think I'd be able to use his hands because they're still touching his.
It's bringing back the memories I'd purged. They were born of the same emotion.
There we go. That's what I was looking for.
Thought it wouldn't activate without all 5 fingers. Was the information I received incorrect?
It's just powering up.
My head is killing me.
Jesus Christ.
This young man is in the midst of an awakening.
Oh, fucking hell.
If he had this much physical ability in the past, he should have been able to take down the heroes at Camino.
No way. No way. Even All Might?
They could only have been mastered through harsh conditioning.
Jesus Christ.
For depth training over an extended period. I'm almost impressed. No more games.
God, look at his hand. What the fuck is going on? What is that? Jesus.
Come on now, don't cry. You're going to make me sad too.
You could go mental here.
I remember everything. I didn't need them to be kind back then.
Lisa, you have to be on your guard. He's heading your way. They had a secret weapon we weren't.
Oh, fucking hell, Jack, got no back here.
He's a walking mountain.
Oh, fuck.
Destro, are you there? Can you hear me?
Oh, my.
Extracts stress and turns it into something tangible. Then blasts it over a wide area. It's not something you can simply dodge.
So he did dodge it, he didn't get the full.
He touched it. In that instant,
Cool.
he ignored his survival instincts for the sake of destruction.
What world will I build? The only thing I want is to destroy.
Oh, God.
I don't care about the future.
Clearly not.
There's a rule at my house. Only one
Let me know,
been
black hair.
placed by my father. No talking about heroes.
He can come back inside when he apologizes.
Don't you think you've been too strict lately?
5 years old and no quirk yet. Aspiring to be a hero will cause suffering for him and his family.
No, dear, stop scratching. I'm itchy. One day we'll figure out what you're allergic to. I know, it's hard.
It's just gotta be his
It's worse
quirk.
when I'm at home. We played heroes, you know, saving people and stuff. And eventually, Mikun said, "10 should be All Might, because I was nice and played with them even though no one else wanted to."
Okay.
An adult's words are absolute to a child. That's why I wanted to hear it from my family. Just once.
This lady is our grandma. She's a hero. I'll be cheering you on as your biggest fan, Tenko.
Just she's the only.
Let's become
Yeah.
heroes together, and Dad doesn't have to know anything about it.
That's what he wanted to hear. So she's the only one that actually said it to him.
I feel great right now, like I can stand up to anything.
That was his quirk. Oh, that was his quirk.
Sweltering.
It activated. Like, it's gonna be his
Tenko!
sister that he
You
kills
went into my
first.
study?
I bet. I don't know.
Yes. Kids are sneaky.
Tenko said that he had a secret to show me. I didn't know.
Oh my days. It's gonna be his Ah.
Grandmother.
Help me. Don't just watch.
Heroes hurt those who love them.
I'm sorry I have to leave suddenly, but your mom has to go fight a really bad man right now.
That's why he doesn't talk
I'll be
about
thinking
heroes.
of
He
you,
doesn't
though,
want it.
the whole time.
Because he feels
I can
abandoned
never
by his
forgive
mother.
myself if this bad man
She's
did
Nana.
something mean to you. You might end up hating me.
Bloody hell.
No matter what happens in the future, I love you, my son. I'll be watching over you. Promise. Even if it's from above.
We're through with your rules. Don't you dare raise your hand to him. Our family deserves to be happy.
That's it. I can't take this anymore, Mom. It's too much.
God, not the doggo.
I hate my whole family.
Ah!
I hate them.
God, see it. Oh, that's awful.
What? Just...
I was looking for you.
Oh, Jesus.
Listen, I shouldn't have blamed you for that earlier. What's wrong?
God.
Don't go. I can't talk. So empty. Hannah, you came to apologize, right?
Oh my God.
Help me!
When Mom crumbled, I thought a villain was after us.
Oh, he didn't realize it was him. Oh. Christ.
Why did they make excuses for my father? The resentment piled up, little by little.
I hate everyone.
Wow, we actually... Christ. Bloody
I hope
hell.
your life is full of laughter. And that you'll be happy.
I didn't know. I'm so sorry, Daddy. Mother, please.
Christ!
Stop it, Tenko!
But I know when I touched my father, I intended to kill.
Fucking hell.
A sense of pleasure shot through my entire body. And just like that, I didn't itch anymore.
Oh my God. Wow, okay, episode 23. That's probably up there with the darkest that this show's gone. I mean, we knew from before that, like, this is how it ended anyway. But I guess just to witness, like, how it all went down is fucked. Like, there's... The thing is that what you can take from it is that, you know, it wasn't him killing his own family that was that spiral, you know what I mean? That started, like, before because of his father, essentially. And even that then goes back to Nana Shimura. So, I mean, if we start with, like, from there, the idea that I get from it is that she, you know, like, she left because she knew that she was going to fight All for One and essentially die. Like, she had accepted that, like, that was her fate. And it makes me wonder if that's what Shigaraki's father had basically had in his mind. The idea that he was being abandoned, not just, like, in that sort of sense of being abandoned, but the fact of, like, you know, Nana Shimura was actually willing to die, and he didn't like that, and then therefore that idea of a hero having to fight for strangers and not for, you know, that selfish sort of innate feeling, I guess, that we all have, that, you know, you would want your parents to, you know, take your own life above like any other, you know. And we know that all of those that, you know, going from, like, through one, like, all those that had One for All and everything like that, that they are that sort of pillar of society that, you know, needs to, you know, it was born to face off against All for One, the great evil, essentially. So they have to be the great good, and doing so, that means that, you know, that Nana Shimura, she had to. So even though she knew that she was going to die, it's something that sort of, like, just had to be done. So yeah, that basically put a sour taste in the father's mouth, and that basically transpired down to his son, because like basically, like every kid in this show, it all starts with like, you know, talking about heroes and everything like that. And I guess it's weird, I get like hearing it from Shigaraki like himself. Obviously he wasn't Shigaraki at that point, but I'm just going to call him that because that's the name he goes by. That even him wanting to be a hero, you know, and even like kids around him like talking about he should like be All Might and whatnot. So that there, I mean, you even have that similarity, I guess, that transpires across. So like, I mean, you have that connection, the similarity between him and Deku, because it seemed as though he wasn't going to get a quirk, and then it eventually formed, and he eventually got it. But you know, the whole thing with Deku wanting to be a hero, but he had his mother there. Now we obviously don't know about Deku's father. God knows what that's all about. I'm sure we'll get to that at some point in the story, but you know, that's the difference there. The parents. And I think that's actually a big theme in the show, is parents. I feel like that is something that crops up a lot in the show, because it's a real thing that happens in, you know, in real life. Like the way that you're sort of treated, the way that you're nurtured, affects how you are going forward. It's how, you know what I mean. It's how it sort of builds you in a way. And for Shigaraki, like, he had the opposite of what Deku did, you know. Deku was encouraged and he was loved, and you know what I mean, and Shigaraki was sort of shunned because he would just talk about, you know, being a hero or whatnot. And for that he was basically ostracized from the rest of his family for that. Like he felt like he wasn't even a part of the family, because his father would basically be a tyrant in the family. Clearly not to the degree of like physical harm until he did, but you know, obviously that was the last straw for the rest of the, you know, the mother side of the family. But like before that, it was just he was putting his own, you know, like he was enforcing his own what's the word? It's not will, but I'll use that because I can't think of the other word. Basically, yeah. Well, his own insecurities, I suppose. That's the word I was looking for. Onto his son. And by doing so, he ostracized Shigaraki from the rest of the family, which is fucked. It's so fucked. Now, obviously, like, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's not great. And you know, you hear Shigaraki obviously monologuing over the whole thing, that like what he needed wasn't just, you know what I mean, it's like, help me, like give me some encouragement from the rest of the family who weren't. And whether or not they were like, because I don't know, were they afraid of the father? I don't know. I don't know if it was like that bad, but clearly they kind of almost respected the idea that it was kind of like his house and it's like under his roof and then his rules. So he kind of just, you know what I mean, he got away with it. And the mother and like that side of the family didn't, you know, until he actually raised a hand to him and actually hit him. And then that was it. Like, you know what I mean, you can't do that. So, you know, like Shigaraki, from his perspective, it's like, you're just as bad because you're literally watching this happen to me and you're not doing anything to help. And even in the one, you know, situation where it felt like he had somebody sort of on his side, was his sister, and even then he ended up feeling betrayed, because that one time where they snuck into the office to find you know, that picture of their grandmother, Nana Shimura, who's a hero, they found out, and you know, as kids do, you know, they basically put the blame onto the other sibling, and that's generally how it is. But obviously, because Shigaraki had, you know, he found that like finally, like, somebody in my family is actually like helping me and encouraging me in, you know, what I kind of want to do, and like that bond there between him and his sister was the only bond that he had in his family. So when obviously he sees that, what is, you know, I mean, even Shigaraki says it in the monologue that, like, you know, it's like kids, like that's kind of like that's what they do. But like from the perspective of Shigaraki as a kid, it's like the person who I was close with has ended up just betraying me, and that was that, you know, it's like it's fucked up. It's completely fucked up with his head, and he doesn't know he doesn't have anyone. He just has the dog, and then we know what happens there. God, that was bad. I didn't know what I was going to witness. I didn't know if I was just going to see them, like, you know, crumble into kind of like dust. But no, like, you actually see... Oh, God. Like, yeah, it is dark. It's really dark. So yeah, the itching and all of that, yeah, it wasn't something that's ever been related to his quirk. I thought that it might have done in this, because I mean, we've seen him itch a lot, like, or sort of scratch, a lot. Like ever since we first met him, we've seen him like scratch and all that. And so that is something that is sort of stress and then like anxiety because of his life, because of his home life, like what he was like forced into and out of with his family, like, you know, well, his father more so, but that like he caused that bad parenting, man. And so yeah, it's not something that was like, that's not to do with his quirk, but it's just that stress and that anxiety that still remains to this day. When he was talking about it there, like, you know, once he had basically killed everyone in his family, you know, the last straw was that, like, sort of like washing pool thing. Once he got hit with that, it was like that was it. Like, there was no going back from that point on. He literally he jumped at his dad, and there was just like, there was only one thing on his mind, that he just wanted to kill him. So it's kind of like that one thing of like that. It's like, you've turned me into this. This is what you've done. You know. It's fucked. You know. And the fact of, like, you know, Nana Shimura, the reason why she sort of left them was in hopes of protecting them, and it's turned into basically the worst thing that could have happened. It sucks, you know. So yeah, and I think stress and whatnot was actually a main talking point that, like, of this episode, something that was featured a lot, because even before we went into the backstory and everything like that, he's obviously fighting Redestro, and Redestro's quirk in of itself is stress, something that he actually holds in and then manifests, uses it as power, essentially. And he had this like, you know, this monologue about how, you know, stress is something that, while akin to him, is almost like a sort of like a self contained quirk. Stress is actually something that affects all quirks regardless. It's like almost like a main component of it, and how it manifests. So it's interesting. Like, some things are just, some quirks are sort of manifested just due to people's, like, livelihood and like the way that they live. At least that's what I took from it anyway. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it feels as though that's like the way that he was talking about it, that, like, you know, livelihood and everything like that does have some like, that's like kind of like the crux of some people's quirks and how they come out, which is interesting. I guess that's somewhat similar to, like if you look at Marvel, for example, like X-Men and whatnot, right? Like the mutant gene that they've got in there, that stress and whatnot activates the sort of like the things that are already there. So it's an interesting insight, because I never really thought of it like that. I guess there was like sort of talk about that in the very first episode of the show, like the one Doctor who, I mean, looks exactly like the Doctor who's like who's part of like the League of Villains and All For One, and that looks exactly like the same Doctor. I'm positive it is. But he says that, like, you know, the gene itself that activates quirks is sort of in line with like the pinky toe thing, like about there being like a lack of sort of like a joint or something like that. So, like, you know, so it is in there when they are born almost, and it's just a case of like, you know, what causes it to activate, you know. And I guess, yeah, a lot of that comes from either like just general stress, or, you know, the lives that they are living, like something to activate it at a certain point. And yeah, so I guess that sort of tells us, like, it confirms like ideas of like, you know, when, because we're getting all of this now anyway, like, you know, it's been talked about by Redestro now, so it's obviously been confirmed. But I mean, if you look at the past, you don't even have to look at, like, you know, we'll look at the past like few episodes now, and you know, obviously we've seen Toga and you know, twice, and obviously now Shigaraki, who's like powering up because of the state of like this stress of just being, you know, around certain things. Twice watching Toga nearly die and whatnot, causing him to get to that point, you know, forcing him into that situation. Like, obviously it was the, you know, the arms being broken and whatnot that turned him there, but like, you know, even that is another form of like sort of stress. Like, all of that time that he spent thinking that he wasn't the real one, and now he's found out that he is like, all of that is like kind of stress combined that he's held in this whole time is gone. So it still has the same effect. And so, like, not even in just regard to these past few episodes, but in the past, I mean, I don't know can you attribute the same thing for Plus Ultra? You know what I mean? Like, you know, because there has to be a reason why, like, you know, you go Plus Ultra. It's not like you're just hitting a bit harder kind of thing. Like, you know, I never really thought of it like that. You just, it's like the culmination of power, like, to go Plus Ultra, to get to that point is, you know, you have to be involved in some form of stress because of the the fight that you're currently in, or that, you know, like someone's life is on the line or anything like that. So I think it all attributes, and I think that's what what Redestro is basically saying there, is that, like, that's what he's learned, and that's how, like, Redestro is able to, like, in regards to all of, like, the people that follow him and everything like that, why it seems like those people are, like, they seem quite advanced in their quirks and, like, their knowledge of how to sort of, like, harness it, you know, because he has this idea, he knows exactly how it works. So it's interesting, like, him being, you know, at the, like, the sort of, like, the leader of the whole thing, and his self-contained quirk is actually stress, that he was able to figure this out, and then therefore that's, you know, it's great insight. I love that. So yeah, really, really cool. I mean, I can't believe how fast Shigaraki is, because that's not just, like, you know, he talked about it like it was training, but fucking hell, he was moving quick. But yeah, I mean, he's awakening right now from that stress of all these memories that are triggering, is basically like awakening his quirk to even more, because that stress of, like, all of those memories rushing back, it's obviously not a good time in his life, so it you know, it forces, like, more stress, and it increases, like, the sort of power and potential of his quirk. So yeah, insane. I don't think we got a title to this episode, did we? I don't think we did, because I normally, like, as soon as I get it, I write it down at the top, so I know what the title of the episode is. And I don't think we got one, which is interesting. I don't think so. I mean, the thing is, on Funimation it says Tenko Shimura Origin, but I mean, I'll write it down. But, like, it never, like, it normally has the thing that crops up, right, saying, like, what the episode title is. But yeah. Yeah, so other than that, obviously that was the main bulk of the episode. but yeah, so the very beginning, the little blood transfusion thing that they said they were basically going to do, copying Toga and then using a blood transfusion like on herself is really cool. Like something I never even thought about before, because I mean we've heard that, you know, Bubagawara twice. He's always like, he said that it's like when he's copying, it's like the, you know, he's copying everything like almost like to a molecular scale. So the blood as well would be a thing that is actually, that, you know, that he actually creates. But, you know, anytime we've seen twice, like one of the clones, like, you know, get injured, obviously it disappears, right? It becomes nothing, like you know, again, like from what it started. So, but like, you know, the blood would still be in there. It's just a case of like, you know, a transfusion. I don't even know if he has the equipment. I guess he could make equipment. I don't know if he could. I'm guessing that's what he's going to do, because I don't think he has them on hand. But yeah, I mean, that's just really cool. That's really cool. I guess, like, obviously a little, like a prick, a little needle is obviously not enough to basically dissipate the clone, so the blood would still be in there. It's just really cool, really, really neat. I've always praised this show on its, like, ability to use quirks in interesting ways, and not just for, like, fighting and stuff like that, but, like, really creative. We had Hanabata, who basically got this Detnerat helmet thing. So this, like, obviously the equipment, the Detnerat is you know, it's a support item company kind of thing, and they call it the Sevens Loud, and it's a helmet. Now I don't know how he got it out. Like, I mean, because his quirk, right, is insight, or to insight. So not insight as in I've got insight into something, but to incite, increase basically physical and mental prowess to his minions, essentially. Which, yeah, I mean, I figured it was something like that, because when he was talking, it was obviously powering up the goons, right? So yeah, that's something that that he can do. But yeah, I mean, that quirk obviously doesn't tell us how he got the helmet out of nowhere. I mean, I guess it could be part of Detnerat's, like, thing, where it's like, it's basically like a small thing that maybe kind of just enlarges it, or, you know, something along those lines. I don't know, but it did come out of nowhere. It could be just another facet of, like, of a quirk that has been stressed out of him. I don't know, but yeah. So there was that. Spinner. Yeah, interesting enough. Yeah, we never actually were told about Spinner's quirk. Like, he's always just been the guy that dresses up like Stain. You know, but I mean, we've seen him have those, like, you know, that kind of, like, reel of blades that he had, right? But yeah, I mean, we never got an actual description. I'm pretty sure we never did of his quirk. And Hanabata basically points out that it's Gecko, yeah. So, like, similar to Sue, it's kind of like one of those that you know, it's in line with the thing. So the Spinner thing is just like him using like support items, yeah. So yeah, interesting. And one of the guys, one of the goons that was inside, jumped out, grabbed a hold of him, and kind of like a porcupine type kind of thing, impaled Spinner. I'm sure that happened, but then afterwards it looked like he was unharmed. But I'm positive he got impaled. It could have just been like the angle that he was at. I just didn't see, like, the, you know, that you know, the damage. But I mean, Spinner's going up against a lot of them there, and I didn't see, like, a lot of Twice clones around to assist him. But I mean, he's taken on a lot there. And the thing is with Spinner, like, he's kind of always been like a background character in the League of Villains. And I guess it makes a lot of sense, like, the way that he was obviously talking about, you know, how he's not, like, it goes with his character, because he doesn't have that sort of desire, like his own desire that he wants to see achieved, and that he's just essentially just a follower. And that he was talking about how he had no motivation until you basically looked at the whole Stain situation, and then being invited into the League of Villains to basically just see somebody else's desire come true, so that he feels a part of it. And I guess that does go for all of the other, like all of the League of Villains. Like you'll find that it's to be, to have a place of their own kind of thing. You know what I mean? To have their own group that they feel a part of. The only one that we haven't truly got any real backstory on is Dabi right now. So yeah, I'm interested. I don't know how long that's going to take to get that. I don't know if it might be in the next coming episodes. I don't know, but obviously he's like arguably the most interesting one out of the lot, right? Because he like the way that he goes on, he doesn't seem like he's as on board with the League of Villains as the rest of them are compact. You know what I mean? Like Dabi tends to do his own thing, so it is going to be interesting to see like where his story goes, and also where his fight goes, because we still haven't gotten back to that yet with Geten. So I'll get in. So yeah, fucking dark episode, man. But that is all I've got. So oh yeah, Gigantomachia's here. God, when everything that's going on, and I almost forgot that yeah, Gigantomachia actually has shown up now. So fucking hell, shit could go mad here. Like Shigaraki's leveling up, and now with Gigantomachia here, like they specifically wanted to go here is in a way to kind of, so that like when Gigantomachia wakes up and he eventually comes here, that Shigaraki would be able to sort of use the Metal Liberation Army to sort of like help or assist in like taking him down. So I don't know, it's going to be it's going to be interesting to see how this fight ends up, because I don't know, it could be a thing of like Shigaraki's just will and desire like wins Redestra over in some form of capacity. I don't know. I don't think it will. Like it doesn't seem that that's the way that it's going. But at some point, the focus is going to have to turn back to Gigantomachia, and with him being in the city now, I feel like that has to be next episode, right? Surely. Could be wrong. I mean, we know what anime can be like with anime time and stuff like that. Who knows? Could be the last episode. But regardless, yeah. So that's the all I've got for this episode. So yeah, really, really dark. And cool episode though. So yeah, that is all I've got. So thank you for watching. In the description below, I link to certain things. One of them is the Discord, so you can get yourself over there if you wish. And I also have a Patreon page as well. So if you do want to support me on Patreon, that'd be very much appreciated. There is a bunch of different tiers and rewards there, like early access gives you access to shows a week early. There's the full length tier, which gives you access to full length reactions to all the shows I do. And then there is the exclusive tier, which gives you access to full length to the movie reactions that I do. So if you want to see my full length reactions to movies, that's the one for you. But that's all I've got. So thank you for watching. I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.